All right, gang, thanks for joining in. Coach, pumped to have you, but pissed off at the Browns. So we're just going to get straight to it. Coach isn't going to bury the lead. So, of course, our Brownies got eliminated from playoff contention. And, if you've been with the channel a while, so Coach had the year 2025 locked in as the year the Lions would win their Super Bowl. Okay? Based off their numbers. So we weren't sure if it was the 2024 to 2025 season or the 2025 to 2026 season. Turns out it was neither. And Coach was just like, WTF, dude. What could possibly be going on here? And, everything just seems so set up for right here, right now-ish. Right? But it's like, how is Coach supposed to just, shake it off and come back next year? It literally seemed impossible without running it again. But then Coach had a pretty obvious thought that somehow hadn't occurred to him. Hey, what about the Browns numbers? And what do you know? If you flip 26, as in 2026, and subtract it, 62 years from 2026 is 1964. That's when the Browns curse started. And they haven't been back to a championship since then, so Coach is thinking that's actually what they're doing, and even more obnoxiously, it actually doesn't run any of the Lions numbers. They can still do the 50-year Bobby Lane thing and win the championship in 75 to 76. All the same with the Eagles picking up the slack the next year with 76, 77. Because I thought everything was just like done, right? It's just like there's just not everything, right? But it's like all the Lions stuff, possibly some of the Eagles stuff, whatever. But then as I started so I'm like, well, no, this is, you go around the structure, you start pounding on things, make sure it doesn't all fall down like the house of cards. Kick this, oh, that's still solid. Kick, no, that's still good. I think we were just a little bit earlier. But Coach has learned some lessons from this year. And Coach never just says, right, this team's going to win, blah, blah. He tells you a billion reasons why. Until those reasons why are there, Coach isn't jumping the gun. We want Belichick there. We want Brady in Detroit. We want OBJ and Josh Gordon on Cleveland. Until things start happening more than just we got our quarterback there and he's starting, right? I couldn't even trust Stefanski to beat the Titans, and I was right. I was really trying, I tried to do a video for you before that was just, and the best I come with, nothing says Stefanski has to lose. And then I was like, yeah, we're not doing this. Because I fucking hate Kevin Stefanski too bad. And just because I don't have a curse that says 100% that he's going to lose to the Titans doesn't mean he's fucking not losing to the Titans. It was just the classic trap game. He had already done it once to us with the fucking Jets. And I knew Shedeur was going to play well. That was the only reason I wasn't willing to throw in the towel completely. I was like, I know Shedeur is going to outplay Cam Ward. And the defense is disgusting. What do you know? The defense more or less played like trash. It wasn't the reason they lost. The reason they lost was the coaching. But a very disappointing day from the defense. We're not going to talk too much about the Browns. Right. But we are running the exact same script next year. Surprisingly. And like I said, last year we pretty much had the same thing happen, but Coach bounced back strong. And we didn't get our B script, but the C script hit hard as a motherfucker, and nobody even had that. Not nobody, right? But none of the scripted takers. They all took Chiefs, and we knew the Chiefs were done the whole way. So we got to be smart. We know it's not the Eagles. The NFC East, spoiler, later in the video, the NFC East is on Hard Knocks this year. So damn sure ain't the Eagles. The Commanders have already done their job. The Giants have already done their job. The Cowboys making a disastrous trade. The Eagles just have to fall apart. They just have to fall apart. And so who's it in for? Coach really doesn't know. I haven't thought too deep about it. But it might be a really good one if it's leading into Lions-Browns. Right? Maybe even better than Chiefs-Eagles rematch. I might have to get creative here. So Coach is going to really look deep. I'll probably have an answer for you by Wednesday. But I'm actually setting the deadline for next. Let's go with next Wednesday on the NFL. Next Wednesday on the NFL, maybe even the Wednesday after that, because we still technically have time. And it's not like the odds are going to get that much different, right, before the playoffs. Right, so obviously we got a pre-playoffs deadline there. It'll be on a Wednesday, probably a couple from now. But for college football, coach is done fucking around. This Wednesday, he's hopefully going to have a championship pick for you. You can strongly believe, and I have no idea who it's going to be now, but I do think it's hilarious that Notre Dame missed the playoffs because they're too cool for the ACC. Right, so they're too cool for the ACC. The ACC doesn't have anybody good to send. So, it blows up in both their faces. Coach thinks Notre Dame probably joins the ACC soon or something like that. Don't forget Rizzo likes Belichick, so it'd be nice to see him go there. The Cameron Crazies have a Cameron of their own to root for. Coach found a Harper connection between Jared Goff's wife and Brady's wife, Kristen Harper, and then Giselle was on the cover of Harper's Bazaar multiple times. You got Ron Harper, who was on the Lakers and the Cavaliers. We think it could be LeBron versus his hometown team. There's your Harper. Josh Gordon is tied for record with Ozzie Newsome. We just had Ozzy Osbourne die. Gordon's got a giant 12 tatted on his back. It's like Shador and Brady. David Sampson is going after Jordan Hudson. That's like Dylan Sampson on the Browns. Running a stupid article. Fact or fiction is Shador Sanders auditioning for the Detroit Lions. Joe Theismann talking about Joe Burrow's injury history. Stefanski and Dylan Gabriel were allegedly found touring a cornflake factory together. And Coach thought that was odd because that's owned by Kellogg, who makes Pop-Tarts, which is a big Michigan company. So there's another bit of your Ohio-Michigan rivalry. Rudolph The Rock Johnson, speaking at the Jim Brown celebration of life. So he basically says that Jim Brown saved his life. He's got ridiculous stories, right? That's all they are, stories about how his daughter died and how he basically held a you-know-what to Jim Brown's face for no reason, just because he said I was a punk or something. It's just the corniest try-hard shit ever. Only Jim Brown would have talked to me like that, whatever. So, but Rudolph The Rock Johnson, that's like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So we got our Rock and Rudolph, like Mason Rudolph, the backup quarterback for the Steelers, who Myles Garrett smacked with his own helmet. Definitely interesting there. UNC coach mentioned they signed the 12th recruiting class. The coach had mentioned Shador wears number 12, Brady wears number 12. Sanders, not only number one trending athlete in searches, he was the 6th most Googled person. Brian Schottenheimer lost to the Lions. Coach thought that was interesting because of Marty Schottenheimer, his dad being a Browns coach. This was very interesting. So you got Scotty Montgomery and David Shaw. Scotty Montgomery and David Shaw, like David Montgomery, Coach's favorite Lion. Number 12 on the Lions just happens to be Thomas Harper. Wow. Right? So there's that. Peyton Hillis, right? Like Peyton Manning, Sean Payton, blah, blah. Peyton Hillis, Browns Madden cover athlete. He saved family members from drowning. Eldon Campbell, Lakers legend, just died in a drowning accident. They said he washed up in a white coffin. Okay, this one's interesting. So you have Jordan Hudson at SMU, the team that was banned, like Jordan Hudson, Belichick's girlfriend, wearing the band necklace, right? Jordan Hudson, well, their athletic director is Kevin Hudson, and they just signed Hudson Woods, which is a twofer because Coach also has Tiger Woods making a comeback. That was what really hurt the most about the Browns going down. As Coach had to reevaluate everything. He's like, please tell me my Tyson stuff, so I got all this sort of stuff right. And I was looking over it, and I was like, we've had way too much success in the past, and it does seem still set up for next year. Coach isn't going to say the sky is falling just yet. I was totally prepared to curse the Lions for 10 years. That was my immediate reaction. Well, looks like they're looking until 35. But then after I really looked over, I was like, it just still feels way too much like it's set up for right here, right now. Steelers sign Adam Thielen, the only active receiver in the NFL older than Josh Gordon. 35 years old, hasn't done jack shit in forever. Okay? So we got Gordon and Beckham coming in at 34-ish, 33, 34-ish next year. Gordon will be 35. So Gordon would be Thielen's age. So proper age to really be I'm the old. Like that's what you want. You don't want Gordon, that should have been another, why would Gordon be the second oldest? That's fucking stupid. Thielen's got to retire. Right? So Thielen's going to go. Gordon will be the oldest. Also, his dad's name's Harold, like Harold Fannin Jr., the best rookie ball catcher on the Browns. Coach said Hendon Hooker is going to come save the day for the Titans. What do you know? They got a hooker laid the wood at the goal line on the Brownies. There's your NFC East on Hard Knocks. And the Browns crowd, when things were actually going good against the Titans for a minute, they chanted "Kiss, rock and roll all night." Now, Detroit Rock City, but that was just a little too much for Coach. Daniel Jones, Colts quarterback, former Giants quarterback. He tore his Achilles, so they're like done. Between him and Sauce Gardner, there's just no way. Malik Harrison got injured for the Steelers right after James Harrison criticized Mike Tomlin. I thought that was interesting. Xavier Woods, number 25. I can't remember exactly what happened with him. He made some sort of big play. I think he was on the Titans, if I'm not mistaken. He made a big play, and of course, Xavier Woods, the name of a professional wrestler. But yeah, there's your Browns eliminated from playoff contention. That's the end of it. Coach, appreciate you.